One thing that I'd like to talk about, because we have guys have a lot of experience traveling, we have guys from all over the world. I would like to talk about cities, cultures, festivals that really respect the genre. I mean, in America, you'll always find a large contingent of passionate horror fans at a festival. But from what I've read and what I've seen from Sitges and Berlin, Brussels, other festivals, can you give us some? We'll start with Ty and go down this way. Give us some ideas on, like, if your film was playing it in city X, you'd be thrilled because they love horror in that city.
Austin is definitely one of them. But that's actually a sincere answer. And my first film, The Roost, premiered here in 2005 to such a warm reception at the Draft House, and I had never been here before, and it was really like eye-opening experience of like how awesome things could be. And then when you go to other places, you realize how not awesome they can be. So between South by and Fantastic Fest, and Tim League and Jan and everyone, it's really impressive. And just the people here and the way you support films in general. You may not know this, but it's not as good everywhere else. But on a specific genre front, like Neil and I met at this festival that not as many people here know about, the Fright Fest in London. That is, I mean, I can't say enough good things about the people that run that. I mean, they're some of the best people I've ever met, and that was another experience that I went there. I almost didn't go because I was like, I don't know, it was last minute, and I went, and I've never been treated so well by the people and the fans and everything in my life. And
they learned that from Tim, Paul.
Yeah. And I loved them though with Tim as human beings. And
Fright Fest is great if you guys could ever make it out there.
It's really something special. And then Sitges in Spain is pretty amazing, which people I'm sure have heard about, and Fantasia is great. But I would say my two favorites, and not saying I like the other ones, but would be the South by and Fantastic Fest, just Austin in general, and then Fright Fest in London for my personal experience.
Good answers.
Well, this is my first experience in Austin, so I can't really say, but everything I've seen so far was pretty amazing, so that's great. Fright Fest is amazing, go there every year. I've been to Sitges as well a couple of times. They've got a real big following for it, but the town that I've had the best experiences screening my films has got to be the BIF in Brussels. They are absolutely mad for it over there. And I've had, screened my first two films out there. It's the most interactive audience experience I've ever had. They really get involved on a crazy level, and they love the genre. And I've just had some amazing experiences out there. I met my wife out there because she was interviewing me when I was promoting The Descent. So yeah, that town has the best kind of response for all of these.
Make it answer. Go to Brussels and you'll find a way. Yes. You can't say Austin again.
You can say Austin again. It's okay.
You can say Austin again.
I'm like, dude, I cannot not say Austin.
All right.
But
spoiled by living here. Spoiled.
There's festivals in other cities that I've been wanting to go to, and I have not gotten to. I've gotten awards from them, and I couldn't go, and I was very bummed because I got, I would have gotten an award had I gotten. But I've been wanting to go to more of them. I need to make more horror films. I don't really make, really out-and-out horror films, unless you count my family films.
I don't want to talk out of turn, but I've seen Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
That's pretty damn scary. That's scary.
I mean, Planet Terror,
yeah,
it's kind of a love letter to horror film.
Yeah, it's not straight down, straight horror.
No, I guess not.
Yeah. That'd be fun to do. I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Dusk Till Dawn gets pretty down.
That was
arguing with the director that his films are horror.
Fun movie. It's such a fun movie. I mean, it's so hard to go shoot in the morning. You got to wake up early because the crew likes to get up early. I like to get up late. I like to shoot at night. But they're like, the early morning I have to drive across LA to go to this location. I'm just bummed, pissed, and sleepy. You get there. All right, what are we doing? And literally the day was, well, we have a whip around Tom Savini's neck. They're going to pull his head off. It's going to roll across the floor. Julia Lewis puts her foot on it, puts an arrow in it, and kicks it into the camera. I was like, oh, okay. Was that that morning? So every day was like Disneyland on that movie. So when you're doing that kind of horror, it's actually fun as someone who has to work on the movie day in and day out. That I kind of tend to make things a little more fun.
Yes. Anything as far as cities you've been to that adore genre film? Fair films, whatever.
I mean, what's great about Austin, like, those of you who live here in Austin, you know, you go to the Alamo Draft House, when they have zombie movie night, they'll do things, like, against Godfather night, they'll have Italian dinners to go with it. If it's zombie movie nights, whenever they have those, they serve real human flesh, and then it says tastes like chicken, and so they get into it, and people get really into it.
Yeah, I guess what's the best movie city you've ever been to is probably not the best question to ask when you're in Austin. Next time I'm in like Bismarck, I'll ask the filmmakers next.
Let's go to the next question.
Yeah?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zombieland 2 3D coming soon to a theater near you. That's the new tool. That is the next question, and I would like to for the gentlemen who've worked with this technology, and for the gentlemen who haven't, I'd like their just general opinion on it as filmmakers. It's 3D, and it seems to work pretty popularly lately in horror films. My Bloody Valentine used it to pretty good effect, financially anyway. And I would just, Robert obviously has a lot of experience with 3D, and Ruben's about to jump into the whole 3D. I would like to talk about that for a little bit. So go ahead.
I've always loved 3D. People don't know is, and if you watch the second half of Dusk Till Dawn, I originally wanted to shoot the second half in Dusk Till Dawn in 3D, so that once you got into the bar, you put on the glasses. I was always trying to think of something fun to add to a movie experience. And it's still framed that way. If you watch the movie, everything, the arrow coming out of the guns, and Clooney's always got the gun in the camera, and the head's rolling in the camera. I still, it's now something that could be made stereoscopic, and I might do that because that was the original intention. But when I saw what the cameras were still the old ass 65mm double barrel gigantic things. I knew I wouldn't be able to do the kind of shots that I normally do to get that stuff shot quickly. And then I went over to, and Jim was always working on 3D as well. We're always talking about 3D. I went over to his set of, about 4 months later, Terminator 2, the 3D ride that they had done. And he said, hey, strap that on your Steadicam. And there's like a huge crane and one of those giant 65mm cameras. So when it came time to do Spy Kids 3D, I had this idea. I loved Jaws 3D, Friday the 13th 3D was one of my favorite movies. When you see it in 3D, here at the Draft House, they showed it one night with the polarized glasses, and that's my favorite movie I've ever seen. It worked so well, the 3D in that. And it was just basically locked off cameras and arrows and shit flying into people's heads. And so I thought, I'm going to do that with Spy Kids 3D and bring back 3D. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was just going to strap two HD cameras close together and then with a computer try to shove the images closer together. I don't know. And then I heard Jim was doing the same thing. He made a fusion camera that had the lenses close, and I told him what my idea was. He goes, that wasn't going to work. Here, borrow my camera. So I used his camera setup and shot Spy Kids 3D, and then shot Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and I love it. I think it's cool. I think for horror films, it's a good.
But if you're walking into a theater, and this is a question for everybody, if you're walking into a theater and you're about to choose Up or one of these movies that are the animated films that are shot in 3D, are you going to go directly for the 3D, or are you going to walk into the 2D? Ty?
I just saw Alice in Wonderland in 2D. I don't know if that answers the question, but I picked that one. Because it was more because of the timing thing. And it also seemed like a headache. I don't know. I think 3D is cool. I think I saw Freddy's Dead at my birthday party when I was in like 8th grade. It was awesome. But I will say that I think this is my personal thing, but in Avatar, the 3D was cooler than the movie. And I think that's kind of a bummer. Like, I think, as long as, that's all I meant. But I think, like, you gotta wonder when the technology comes first, is that, like, good or bad for movies sometimes? That's my only concern with it. But other than that, it's awesome.
Good answer.
I think I'm not going to choose a movie based on whether it's 3D or not. I'm going to go to the cinema to see something, and it's just going to be based on the movie. And if it's in 3D, then great, that's an extra D.
The night opened, I literally was standing in the aisle. Here's 2D Up and here's 3D Up, and I just walked into 2D because it's just I want to watch a film. And
That's $15.
Yeah, true. They're now cheap too.
I think that it's a great tool, and like all great tools, in the hands of somebody brilliant, it will come out well, and in the hands of an idiot, it will not. And
Well
It's pretty much the same answer to some of these other questions, like which movies you're going to remake, which it depends on who's doing it. And if you're going to go see, if you have the chance to see a Pixar movie in 3D or in 2D, go see the 3D one, because they're going to do a fantastic job. And those movies are all about transporting you somewhere.
and that really takes it that extra step of becoming part of that universe. And you're going to see it in 2D and all the other